continuous review model has an assumption that you are not fixing the time period whenever you are ordering. So it's not that every first day of the month, every first week of the order, or first week of the month only you will place the order. So it's not like that. You're not waiting for a fixed time. Depending on the demand, you're continuously reviewing your inventory status, and depending on the demand, sometimes you will wait only 2 weeks before placing an order. Sometimes you will place an order after 5 weeks, 6 weeks if the demand consumption is slow. Okay, so time period is not fixed. So time period is also variable. Okay, and that is why we have represented time here as Q by A, quantity divided by the rate. Okay, everybody gets this part? There's confusion or no? Everybody agrees on this? Confusion or no? See, everybody knows the formula of speed. What is the formula of speed? Huh? Distance by time, right? So I'll draw a graph, simple graph, okay? So you have distance here and you have time here, right? This is time, this is distance. This is the slope. In, let's say, 1 hour, I'm covering this much distance, 2 hours, I'm covering this. So this is my average speed, okay? If it is a constant speed, this slope is giving me the speed, right? And distance is equal to speed into time, right? In inventory formula, what is speed? No, give me the variable or the factor which is representing speed here. A, the rate of consumption of material, right? So this is A here. Distance is Q, the quantity that you ordered that arrived in your warehouse, right? And this is the speed at which you are consuming it. And then time, right? If I have to calculate time, what do I do? Q by A, right? Okay. So from this is what we are doing here is, because these time intervals, although they look similar on the graph because there's no real way to represent it, but they are varying. This time distance is different from this time. This time between 2Q divided by A and 3Q divided by A is different. Okay, so these times are variables. So that is why we are representing time here. Okay, and Q is the inventory that you ordered and arrived at your warehouse. Okay, and what started to happen? It started to decrease at a rate of A. Rate of depletion or rate of consumption of inventory was A, right? Everybody on board with this? Okay. Now, if I have to formulate something, formulate a formula. So what do? I select one data point in the whole chart. Okay. So what did I select? I selected this time, which I'm calling it T as T. It's a random point in the inventory, random time T. Okay. So time becomes T here, right? At this time, what is my inventory level? Everybody gets this? How did we arrive at this? I still see blank faces. See, I'll come. See, this slope is A, right? The slope doesn't change anywhere. Here, because it is a uniform demand. This is the first model we are talking about, uniform demand, A. The slope is constant. This is what we assume first thing. Slope is constant demand is constant, it is not changing. Okay, A is the constant demand. So can I calculate this? If I know this is T, time period T from here to here, what is the distance? What is the distance? Speed into time, right? A into T. Okay, this is A into T, right? So what is this distance now? This whole was Q. So this becomes Q minus AT, right? So at any point time T, any point in time T, whichever I'm calling as T, the inventory becomes Q minus AT, right? The inventory at that point of time. This time I can change anywhere. I can slide and I can make it equal to anything. Okay, so everybody got this one? Okay. So coming back here, and during this time period, what is the average inventory? Can somebody tell me? Not this time T, but the whole between Q to 0 at this time point. If T is equal to Q by A at this time point, if I have to calculate the average inventory, what is my average inventory? Average inventory, Q by 2. Why? Because opening stock is Q, closing stock is 0. I consumed everything and divided by 2. That is my average inventory. Okay. So going back to theory again, what does average inventory represent? The average amount of inventory. Let's say time was 1 month. Now I'm talking about monthly inventories. Okay. Time is 1 month. And if I say my average inventory for the whole month was 100 pallets. Okay, that means on an average, every day I was paying rent for 100 pallets, right? So what do I do to calculate the cost? I simply multiply the average inventory into the number of days or the time period for which I was holding that average inventory. Okay, so the cost of holding in this time period from 0 to Q by A, what it will be? 100 into 30, that is an example, but in terms of formula, I want in terms of right now these factors. So average inventory into the time it was held. Okay. So this part is clear with everybody, right? So purchase cost per cycle, everybody's like, I think very clear. K is the initial cost of setup, and then cost per item into number of items. So total cost of ordering. Okay. Total purchasing cost, right? This was the easy part. K is the fixed cost, you have to spend it, plus C is the rate of cost for every material into number of material. So ordering cost is very simple here. Now we are calculating the holding cost. Okay, so what are the three factors in this? Average inventory that you are holding for the whole month or the particular time period. Okay, then unit holding cost. So if I tell you I'm holding an average inventory of 100 pallets per month and the rent is $2 per day. Okay, so 200 per day. So this is what we are talking about, unit holding cost. Cost of holding 1 unit of that material, okay, into average inventory into number of days that you are holding the inventory, length of time, length of period. So in terms of formula, what happens now? Average inventory is Q by 2, right? Unit holding cost we have defined here, holding cost as H, number of items per month here, okay, H in this, right? And what is the period of time from here to here? Q by A. So that is why the formula. Okay, so this graph is a little important to understand. So at all points, I hope everybody remembers this, why we have this formula, because it will become a lot more complicated, okay? When we will introduce shortages, when we will introduce probabilities, when we will start to introduce stock out situations. So this part should be super clear with everybody, okay? Then total cost per cycle is ordering cost plus holding cost.